Yeah, August 7th, 2023. And so, yeah, this is, a combination of the Revolutionary War and the Civil War and the Civil Rights Battle all together in one. And, I got to show my family first because I definitely discovered and pioneered the descendants of the slave breeding program's genetic principle. And unfortunately, the white and Caucasian folks whose ancestors participated in slavery wholeheartedly and then bred the slaves for decades after slavery ended, definitely contributed to spreading a whole lot of uneducated people who had been brought up in brutal as slaves. My ancestors, and ancestors everywhere. Ancestors down in Brazil and Portugal, and like Haiti and those islands down there like Jamaica, the West Indies, and down south. And so yeah, there's definitely some descendants of slave breeding programs in my family, and that's why I'm going to start with that because I know my family going to be the first ones to come out the woodwork to try and discredit me. Oh, Crystal, crazy. They forgot the history of the stuff that was done to me, that those who are still alive that they did to me, that derailed my future because I was a very bright and studious kid. I graduated with an 85 average, and what my family forgets is that quite a few of them sexually abused me, and I definitely will be dealing with y'all face to face. But first of all, let me identify y'all, and then I'll get to y'all later. It started off with my grandfather, Billy Outerbridge. He's dead. He's lucky. He went to me answer to his maker. He's lucky that he's not still here to answer to me. And then it went on to my sister's father, Emmett Faulkner. Then it went on to my godfather. Coleman, who he's dead. He was hit by a car on 155 with St. Nick and Edgecombe and all of that intersect right there across the bridge, where I tell you I'm from, across the bridge. And who else? It was my cousin, Lil Joe. He did that back when Grandma Lula was alive in her old apartment on Bradhurst Avenue, 147, I believe it was, in Bradhurst. The railroad flat. I still remember everything. Lil Joe, did you forget? Lil Joe, you're a pastor or something up there in Detroit now? I didn't forget. I'll talk to you face to face or something or some kind of way on the phone or something. Yeah, we'll circle back around all that. And Little Joe, and it was also Harold, Lil Claude, Stevie, God rest his dead, Stevie Zed. My cousin Thomas Renee Samuels from right there in the Polo Grounds, in the Colonials, where I grew up in the Colonials. I was there in the projects, right there by the Polo Grounds. The Polo Grounds, the big ones, the Colonials, the little ones behind it, right? Where Rucker be and all of that. Yeah. You can ask people, they'll tell you Rucker started back there behind the Colonials. It didn't start right there across in the Polo Grounds where it is right now. It started behind the Colonials in a little one basketball court. They had like one or two nets. It was too small. And so then when it started getting big, they had to move it, and they moved it across 8th Ave right there across the from the Polo Grounds. That's how far back I go. You know what I'm saying? I go back to the 80s and shit, back to when like It's Yours was out. that rap, shit like that, back when, what I'm saying, NWA, when they had just come out, you know what I'm saying, when I was in high school and shit like that. So, I'll get back to all of that. And also my sister's father, yes, my sister's father also. Renee, your father also tried it with me one time. Cousin Renee, your father, I believe his name is Lewis, he tried it with me. I'm not sure if his name is Lewis. Your father, whatever his name was, Lewis, if that was his name, your father, he tried it with me one time too. Cousin Michael thought he was going to, but he didn't. He ran, because by then I had been on 160, and I learned some shit. Y'all, and fam, y'all don't know. And the only one of my cousins who never tried to violate me is Khalid. Khalid, I love you, Khalid. You ain't never tried to violate me. We had a lot of fun growing up together. I appreciate you for that, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I want you to know that. And so the rest of y'all, I'll circle back around to y'all later. Those of y'all who's still alive, because I want to see you face to face or talk to you on the phone and see if you forgot the shit you did to me, because I didn't. So those of you, those who are dead, they the lucky ones. They ain't got to answer for what the fuck they did to me, but y'all do. So now let's get on to my new series. My new series is Learn or Die. Surviving 160, the dirty and the dirty 30 in the 90s. That's the shit y'all ain't know about me, fam. When shit changed radically for me, yeah. Because I spent a lot of time up there on 160, when I uh, ran up there. I ran to the streets to get away from my house because I was unsafe in my home from y'all, my family. Yeah, who I did a lot of shit for since I was 6.5, 7 years old, babysitting, all of that. 10 years old, babysitting 4 kids. I got the picture with you on my lap, Barry. You bastard ass Barry, son of Doris, and nobody knows who the fuck knows who your dad is, because we know, what Doris was back then, right? We'll get to Doris too. Doris did a lot of good shit. Doris was the biggest OG on Brad Hurst and Ape Ab. We know that. She did a lot of good shit, but those of us in the family, not people like you, Virgil, family. We know that Doris did. We should help you with one hand, she'll stab you in the back with the other. Ask Barbara. Ask Khalid. Okay, those who are still alive. Ask Diana. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing is the story. So that's how I wound up. I want y'all to know this is the first story for Learn or Die, surviving 160 and the dirty 30 in the 90s. How I got up there was because I was trying to duck my moms and my cuz Renee, Thomas Renee Samuels, yes, Renee, started me smoking. That's right, because he was smoking undercover when he was selling. That's right. Remember cuz he used to sell on the Ave right there. Remember 155 and 8 Ave back when it used to be the fucking payphone in front of the chicken spot that they kept burning down the chicken and the Chinese spot for insurance and shit. The chicken spot and then the Chinese was next to it. Right. And then they found out the Popo was listening in on the payphone back when they had beepers and y'all stopped using the payphone. Right? Payphone ain't there no more. But you was puffing back when you was selling, remember? And I guess you didn't want to fuck your package up that day. I told you I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to try it. You told me no. 2 weeks later, you said you want to try it? You still want to try it? Because I guess you didn't want to fuck up your package or you didn't have enough money to go buy something that to puff it. And so I was like, sure. And I gave you $10 and we tried it in your house, Anime's house. God rest Anime. God rest the dead. Love Anime, my great-grandma. Your grandmother. My great-grand-aunt. And we tried it right there in your room, remember? That was the first time I ever did it. You forgot to tell the family that part, cuz I'll tell them for you and tell you to your fucking face. And so once I started doing that and losing weight, and you know how nosy motherfuckers is, the projects, I knew sitting in the goddamn staircase or whatever, sooner or later they was going to tell on me and my mother was going to whip my ass. Back in the day, old school parenting, my mother was little, but she packed a mean one. And she hit you with a lot of shit, My mother beat me with belts, shoes, her fists, slapped me, bloody my nose, extension cords, scars on me, on my legs, all kind of shit, So extension cords in the tub soaking wet. That's how they got down back in the day. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing now, these wild kids. So yeah, I didn't want my mother to know. She would have whipped my ass, and that's how I wound up on 160. Ducking my cousin and his nosy friends on 8th Ave who wouldn't have sold to me, or if they sold to me, they'd have told my cousin and he'd have told my mom and my mother would have whipped my ass. And so to get away from my family who was sexually abusing me and shit like that, and that's, I was, puffing weed, then I wound up doing that with my cousin and ducking him, ducking my mother, and everybody on 8th Ave. I just went up the hill because I had family up the hill, and wasn't stupid, knew what was going on up there. I had family up the hill, where was they? They was at 161 or whatever, 162, and Riverside. Cooley and them, Khalid's cousins, Khalid's people, Cooley, Leah, Mina, Shakira, all of that. Leah. And so I just wandered up there and wandered onto that block after I would come from work from the bank while I was working at the bank. And they didn't trust me at first, because there was a bunch of, Dominicans and some blacks, hustlers up there. And I wasn't from that block. And at first, I don't know, they must have thought I was Pope or something. I wasn't no Pope. Oh, I was just a kid. Eventually, they realized that, y'all. I was just a kid wandering up there trying to get something that I had no business getting into. You know what I'm saying? Puffing little trees and this and that. And so I wound up there and started to buying from them. And back then, it was jums and shit, the little, nicks and shit like that. And then, of course, they had the other shit on the scale, but I wasn't at that level at that point, and I would just buy a little something and try to leave. But going around puffing here or there, it just was like risky business. Here or there by the subway or by the Edgecombe Park or whatever, risky business. And so eventually one of the hustlers who saw me buying, he asked me if I wanted to puff in his little, his little hole-in-the-wall crib. I didn't want to be disrespectful. It was grimy, terrible. But, I mean, at first I said no, I was suspicious. But then after a while, I said, man, I could see he wasn't trying to, get over slick. He was just trying to get a little something. You know what I'm saying? A little PC. And percentage. And so that's what I did. I went over, to a little grimy, because where he was, the whole layout of the block has changed or if you're coming down from Amsterdam on 160 going to Broadway, on the left side, that whole shit has changed now. The first half of the block was different. Once you hit those HPD buildings on the second half of the block, those were still there. Those were there, yeah, back in the day. But at first it was a long empty lot. Then it was a little bodega. Then it was like a 6-story building with mad spots in there, mad spots. And after that, there was another building which was 6 stories. Then there was a couple brownstones, and the first brownstone was where I met that hustler dude. I'll call him Chico. I don't remember his name. He was grimy or whatever, but all he wanted was a little, BC, and that's what he was trying to get. And that's how I started to learn about hustling. The first time I did did a move, a geese, on them niggas, taxed them was with him. He asked me to watch his back. That's the first time I did it. I was terrified, scared to death. He waited until they was, it was hot on the block. Nobody was coming in the block because they say, bajando, subiendo, and let you know the popo's coming up, they coming down. Nobody comes in the buildings because they ain't trying to be in the buildings with a popo on the block with the keys and shit in their pocket. They know the popo check every door till they find a door that the key fit. They find a key in their pocket. So he knew where they had the key, and he asked me to watch his back, and he grabbed the key, went up the stairs. He was on like the 3rd floor, and he was on the top floor. Because it was like basement, 1st floor, 2nd floor, and then 3rd, whatever. And so he was on the 3rd, and they was on the top floor, 2 spots. It was several spots in there, about 4 or 5 spots in there. One on the bottom basement level was 1, and then it was 2 on the next level, and then it was it skipped that level, and then it was 2 at the top level. Skipped the level where he lived on the 3rd floor, and then it was 2 at the top level. And so we went up the stairs, and he grabbed the key from under where it was hidden, under the wooden stairs, wherever he had peeped where they hid the key, and went in, and we went in. I was keeping an eye out to if they opened the door or anything so we could get out. And he grabbed some. He grabbed a lot, like, I don't know, three G's, 3 grams, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And so 3 grams, and I grabbed a little bit. I was scared, terrified. My reasoning, my thought was, if they catch us, I only took a little bit. Maybe they won't hurt me a lot. I was stupid. I learned not to be stupid quick, because on 160, you had to learn or die. You know what I'm saying? It didn't always come down to life or death, but it absolutely could, and you better learn motherfucking quick. You didn't come on a block like 160, a big money-making block like 160 with no little kiddie stupid shit. And so I kept my mouth shut and learned real quick, and we did it. We did that one. And, went back down to his apartment. He put the key back, and we were sitting in there, puffing. And eventually they came, they noticed a lot, because he took so much. He took about 3 grams. And they noticed something was missing. They came at questioning him, and I sat there looking innocent and stupid, which I was. And like clueless, like I knew nothing, They didn't even, think to look at me twice. It was all about him. And they left because they couldn't, prove anything. And I guess me sitting there with him was kind of like some kind of, I gave him some kind of a little alibi, like, he would have never did that with me. Well, he was the one who showed me the first ropes, but then I met Sheila at his crib. And Sheila was a master, oh my God. Yo, motherfuckers would fall for her bullshit left and right. Yo, she looked like, don't fall for that shit and think she was a crackhead, yo, because she was not, yo. She was a smoker. Yeah, she fucked around with that, pipe shit. Not me. But yo, look, she grown. I'm not there to be nobody motherfucking conscience. Shit, I was there ducking my mama. And I met her in his crib. She came there ducking her father because she used to rob her father, yo, who got two big checks. And she was ducking him because she had, taxed him. And now he was, obviously he was wondering what was up. And so she went over there to duck him and duck her man, Felix. And that's how I met her. And she wound up taking liking to me and took me with her to her crib. And that's when I met everybody else, all the other hustlers. Sean, God rest his dead, the twins, Will and Rich. Will was fast talking, looked like Road Runner, always cracking jokes, real fast talking, move fast, talk fast, skinny, looked like, Road Runner. And Rich was the one who looked like GQ, with the leather trench coat, the fly clothes. He had a nice smile, I'm gonna give him that. And he could be funny, but he was a fucking snobby, stuck-up motherfucker with that GQ shit, leather trench coat shit. You know what I'm saying? Always kind of this vibe, he wants you to kiss his ass type shit. Will wasn't like that. There was other differences about him, I'll talk about that later to you face to face. I like the whole ammunition, son. So anyway, let me see who want to complain about any motherfucking thing, because y'all taught me some shit too, Will and Mitch. And you know what you did, Rich, when you took the motherfucking keys and you had to leave? You was the only one of the crew who got greedy. And that, you blew up the spot for you, but not for me anyway, or whatever. Not your brother. They ain't touch your brother or your mom. God rest, your mom, and not God rest. Your mom is still there. I ain't gonna say where. She there. And, Riverside, I ain't gonna say where. And yo, you did that, and whatever. But you also taught me about shit, you and your brother, about how to get over on them niggas done. So now it's time, what I'm saying, for all receipts. I'm catching all receipts for motherfuckers who thought I was stupid. You thought I was stupid, Rich. You used to treat me like I was stupid. Let me see you try to treat me like I'm stupid now, done. I'd love to see that shit. We can meet on 160 or wherever. But you don't come back there because you know the keys you took, right? Anyway, so that's story number one. So, we'll get to it, how it started. Like I said, once they got used to my face, what I'm saying, they realized I wasn't no, pop or whatever. I was just a kid, you know what I'm saying? And then it was niggas like, what was that motherfucker? Ooh, Drew. With that, what's up, miss? Ooh, oh God. Yeah, but it's Drew. I know you're still out there somewhere fucking tormenting people with your bullshit, son. Just because your mom lived in that fancy building where Dinkins lived and shit back before Dinkins was the mayor. Yo, I hope I see you, you know what I'm saying? So we can catch up on your bullshit. I want to see you try some of that. What's up, miss? Shit on me now. So we'll talk more about what I learned on 160 on another live or learn or die. Surviving 160, the Dirty 30, and in the 90s. Yo, and that's the first episode. Stay tuned to the next episode. Yo.